Once upon a time, in the prosperous village of Ijebu, surrounded by lush forests and flowing rivers, lived a young man named Adewale. Adewale was not just any young man. He was the wealthiest bachelor in the village, known for his charm, good looks, and inherited wealth. His father, Chief Olayinka, had left him a fortune, making Adewale the envy of many and the desire of countless maidens. Adewale's mansion stood at the edge of the village, a grand structure with high walls and beautiful gardens. It was here that he hosted lavish parties, drawing crowds from all around. The young maidens of Ijebu dreamed of catching his eye, believing that winning his heart would secure their future. But Adewale had a reputation for breaking hearts. Despite his wealth and charm, Adewale found pleasure in courting the maidens of Ijebu, only to leave them heartbroken. He would shower them with attention, gifts, and promises, only to abandon them when they fall in love with him. It was a game to him, a way to assert his power and superiority. He believed that no maiden could resist his charm, and he took pride in proving himself right time and time again. Adewale's reputation as a heartbreaker grew with each passing day. There was Kemi, the blacksmith's daughter, who had once blushed at his every glance. Adewale had courted her with sweet words and tender gestures, only to abandon her without a word. Kemi's heart was shattered, and she found it difficult to trust anyone again. Then there was Folake, the village healer's apprentice. Adewale had wooed her with gifts of rare herbs and promises of a life together. Folake had believed him, dreaming of a future by his side. But when she confessed love, Adewale laughed and walked away, leaving her to nurse her broken heart. And there were others, beautiful, kind-hearted maidens who had all fallen for Adewale's charm and suffered the same fate. The villagers began to murmur about his cruelty, but Adewale paid no heed. To him, it was all a game. One evening, as Adewale sat in his grand mansion, sipping palm wine and enjoying the company of his friends, he boasted about his conquest. "No maiden can resist me," he declared. "They are all the same, foolish and easily swayed by wealth and charm." His friends laughed and agreed, but there was one person who did not find Adewale's games amusing. An old woman named Mama Tunde, known for her wisdom and connection to the spirit world, had been watching Adewale's action with growing concern. She knew that his behavior would bring consequences, and she decided it was time for the spirits to intervene. One night, as the village slept, Mama Tunde called upon the spirit for guidance. She sat by her fire, chanting and offering sacrifices, seeking their wisdom. The flames flickered and danced, and soon the spirit spoke to her in whispers, carried by the wind. Adewale's heart is cold and his action cruel, the spirit said. He must learn the pain he has caused. Only then will he understand the value of true love. Mama Tunde listened carefully and thanked the spirit for their guidance. She knew what needed to be done. The next morning, she went to the village square and called for a gathering. The villagers, curious about what Mama Tunde had to say, gathered around her. "Adewale," she called out, her voice firm and commanding. "Step forward." Adewale, surprised by the sudden attention, stepped forward reluctantly. The villagers watched in silence, sensing that something important was about to happen. "You have caused much pain to the maidens of this village," Mama Tunde said. "The spirits have spoken, and they have decreed that you must learn the value of true love. A curse had been placed upon you, Adewale. You will fall deeply in love with a maiden who will not love you in turn. Only when you understand the pain of a broken heart will the curse be lifted." Adewale laughed dismissively. "A curse from the spirit? This is nonsense." Mama Tunde's eyes flashed with anger. "Mark my words, Adewale. The spirits do not lie. You will soon know the pain you have inflicted upon others." With that, Mama Tunde turned and walked away, leaving Adewale to ponder her words. The villagers murmured among themselves, wondering if the prophecy will come true. Days turned into weeks, and Adewale continued his life as usual, dismissing Mama Tunde's warning as mere superstition. He hosted more parties, courted more maidens, and broke more hearts. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted, and he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was about to change. One day, a new maiden arrived in the village. Her name was Zena, and she had come from a neighboring village to visit her aunt. Zena was unlikely any maiden Adewale had ever seen. She was not only beautiful, but also intelligent and independent. She carried herself with a grace and confidence that intrigued Adewale. When he first saw her at the market, he was captivated by her beauty and decided that she would be his next conquest. He approached her with his usual charm, but Zainab was not easily swayed. She listened to his flattering words and smiled politely, but her eyes held a spark of challenge. "I have heard of you, Adewale," she said. "You are known for breaking hearts. I am not interested in being another one of your conquests." Adewale was taken aback by her directness. He was not used to being rejected, and Zainab's refusal only fueled his desire to win her over. He made it his mission to court her, using all his words and charm to try and impress her. But Zainab remained steadfast. She enjoyed his company, but made it clear that she was not interested in a romantic relationship. Adewale found himself falling for her, his feelings growing stronger with each passing day. For the first time, he experienced the pain of unrequited love, and it was a feeling he could not ignore. Adewale's pursuit of Zena became an obsession. He showered her with gifts, wrote her poetry, and did everything he could to win her affection. But Zainab remained indifferent, treating him with kindness, but never giving him the love he so desperately sought. The villagers watched in astonishment at the once proud and arrogant Adewale, who was now humbled by his love for Zainab. They saw him change, becoming more considerate and thoughtful. He began to understand the pain he had caused the maidens he had once courted so carelessly. One day, Adewale went to see Mama Tunde, seeking her advice. "Mama Tunde," he said, "I am in love with Zainab, but she does not love me in return. What can I do to win her heart?" Mama Tunde looked at him with a mixture of sympathy and sternness. "Adewale, love cannot be forced or bought. It must be earned through genuine actions and a sincere heart. You must prove to Zainab that you have changed and that you are worthy of her love." Adewale nodded, understanding the wisdom in her words. He knew that he had to show Zainab that he was not the same man who had once broken so many hearts. He had to prove that he was capable of true love and respect. Over the next few months, Adewale devoted himself to changing his ways. He stopped courting other maidens and focused on becoming a better person. He helped the villagers, donated to those in need, and showed kindness and compassion to everyone he met. Slowly, the villagers began to see the changes in him and started to forgive his past action. Zainab watched Adewale's transformation with interest. She saw the sincerity in his actions and the genuine remorse in his eyes. While she admired his effort, she was still cautious. She needed to be sure that his change was real and not just another attempt to win her over. One day, she decided to put him to test. She invited him to accompany her on a journey to a distant village where her aunt was ill and needed help. The journey was long and difficult, filled with obstacles and challenges. Zainab wanted to see if Adewale was truly committed to his new path. Adewale agreed without hesitation. Eager to prove himself to Zainab, they set off on the journey, traveling through the forest, crossing rivers, and enjoying harsh weather. Along the way, they encountered many trials, from wild animals to treacherous terrains. Throughout the journey, Adewale showed courage, patience, and resilience. He protected Zainab, carried her when she was tired, and never complained about the hardship. Zainab saw his dedication and began to believe that he had indeed changed. When they finally reached the village, Adewale helped care for Zainab's aunt, using the skill he had learned from the village healer to tend to her needs. Zainab was touched by his kindness and began to feel a spark of affection for him. After spending several weeks in the village, Zainab's aunt recovered, and it was time for Zainab and Adewale to return to Ijebu. During the journey back, Zainab found herself growing closer to Adewale. She admires his strength, his kindness, and his dedication. She saw the man he had become, and her heart began to soften. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Zainab turned to Adewale and said, "You have changed, Adewale. I see the goodness in you now, but tell me, what made you to change your ways?" Adewale looked into the flames, reflecting on his journey. "It was you, Zainab. You made me realize the pain I have caused and the emptiness of my actions. I fell in love with you, and for the first time, I understood what it meant to truly love someone. I wanted to become a better person, not just for you, but for myself and the people I have wronged." Zainab smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "You have proven yourself to me, Adewale. I see the sincerity in your heart, and I believe in your change. I have grown to love you too." Adewale's heart soared with joy. He took Zainab's hand and vowed to cherish her for the rest of his life. They returned to Ijebu as a couple, their love a symbol of redemption and transformation.